Up next, a bit of culture on Arts 24.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for Arts 24. As international headlines focus on Gaza's destruction, today we're talking about a film that offers a rarely seen view of humour, absurdity and resilience amid the rubble. Once Upon a Time in Gaza comes from Palestinian brothers Arab and Taza Nasser.
عندك 200 حبة فرد بعطيك النص بس تسلمني اسمه.
صدق مش جاهزة. طب ناولني يوم خلينا نتسهل. صاير اشي؟ شو الوضع مقلقز برا؟ صار بيديك. دافع انزل بالسيارة. طيب شوي.
Well, the film premiered to acclaim at the Cannes Film Festival and won the Best Director Award in the Uncertain Regards section. It's a bold, genre-bending portrait of daily life in Gaza. And we're joined by the co-director, Arab Nasser. Welcome to the show. Congratulations on the success of the film. Now, it opens with Donald Trump's voice talking about plans for the Gaza Riviera.
Yeah.
Then we see images of Gaza being destroyed. From the very first minute, the audience is hit with politics, power and spectacle. Why was that the way you wanted to start the film?
Yeah, for us, it was, not the end of the absurdity, but the speech of Trump, it came in a time that the world wished that Trump, he could stop the genocide which is happening now in Gaza, which is the most horrible genocide in the modern history. At that time when we hear the speech, it's something like you feel like even with the genocide, you want to kick them out after years of history of suffering since 48 until now, and then the genocide start, and you came at the end like you want to kick them out, like the Palestinian, who's can look them, nobody in the world look at them as a human being. They look at them as a political issue. They have to end it.
The film goes on to humanise people in Gaza.
Of course.
The title, Once Upon a Time in Gaza, is a brilliant title. It references cinema history, but also suggests a kind of myth-making as well. What story do you want to tell with the film?
Look, since beginning, this film we start to write it in 2015. And we have the idea to do Once Upon a Time, like Once Upon a Time in West, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in Japan, there's many countries they did Once Upon a Time. We thought that why not to have Once Upon a Time in Gaza and to make like a Western, because we love the Western films. The idea was like that, but the subject, it's the same subject we have all the time, the human being on this place, because, the people, the outside, what they know about Gaza, just what the reportage, what the documentaries, but they never see a real picture from Gaza, the real human being there. We are talking about people, they know how to live.
The film is actually structured into two chapters. The first is set mainly in a falafel shop following Osama, and the second focusing on Yahya's transition into acting, and that's a symbol of Palestinian resilience. He plays a soldier who becomes a martyr. We'll talk about it in a minute, but let's take a look.
حلو يحيى.
الله.
أهلا وسهلا.
السلام عليكم. يعطيكم العافية.
يعافيك.
احنا تقابلنا قبل هيك.
طبعا.
هذيك اليوم كنتوا تحكوا فيلم ما فيلم، صار عندي فضول، فقلت اجي اشوف بعيني.
احنا هلا عم نصور مشهد اللي بناخذ فيه اعترافات من البطل.
الله.
اهلا وسهلا فيك.
جبت لكم معي سندويشات، تعال يا بني هات. وهات سندويشة البطل، وزع على الشباب. تفضل يا بطل. والله ما انت قليل.
يحيى بيعجبك.
لا، ما انا شفت بعيني، متقن الدور بشكل رهيب.
So you said you started writing the film in 2015, so 10 years ago. Yeah. Why does it still feel so relevant, do you think?
We finished this film, the writing finished in 6 October. 6 October, we finished the draft and we were ready to go for shooting. And suddenly 7 October, day after, and then the genocide start. And we stopped 5 months, almost 5 months, like we cannot even move, we cannot move anything. We cannot, just we are following the news, especially there is no internet in Gaza. But then we decide during this time, like we need to come back, we need to do something.
Since the war in Gaza started, actually, more than 100 cultural sites have been damaged, according to UNESCO. Here in Paris at the moment, the Arab World Institute is showing an extraordinary exhibition of Gaza's ancient treasures, treasures that were salvaged throughout the chaos of history, not just now, but throughout the years, throughout decades. How important is it, do you think, to remind the world that Gaza is not only a site of suffering, but also of civilization and of memory?
Of course, it's so important to do that. Especially Gaza, there is a lot of treasure in antique, in artists, and musicians, and there is many type of treasure in Gaza, and especially that Israel, they are making a war against our narrative as a Palestinian. They try to erase our roots in this land all the time. But for me, it's important any initiatives or any exhibition or any event talk about Palestine or talk about Gaza or talk about what's going on now.
Well, it is a powerful exhibition. Let's have a listen now to the president of the Arab World Institute, Jack Long, and a visitor to the exhibition who was moved to tears.
This exhibit is unique and unprecedented. It's the first time that relics or pieces that tell the story of this history have been presented in this form. But it also has an ethical and political meaning. We want to say to the people of Gaza, stand firm. And in our own way, we're standing by you. It's a response not through violence, but through culture, through science, through knowledge, through art.
I found it to be a very moving exhibition, obviously because it resonates with what's happening there today. And also, it's very important to show that Gaza is not only violence, war and destruction. History exists, beauty exists. And one day, all of it will come back to life, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've been in Gaza 2 weeks before 7 October, Jack Long. Yeah, I've been in Gaza and he watched exhibition. By the way, my brother, he was one of the part of the exhibition.
Well, he's very interested.
And I heard the interview with him, what he talked about Gaza. It was too emotional.
It was touching.
Because, you know, the life there is, how much is difficult, how much is black, how much, but there is life there. There is a people. You know, for me, the people, they don't have the life. They are the most people, they know what the meaning of the life. Because in Gaza, you search for the life. You don't have the life. Blockade, drone all the time, no electricity, nothing there. But there is a people, they're looking how to live. And this is the subject of our film. People, they try to survive in a conditions really completely not human.
Well, let me ask you then, at the end of your film, the words appear, one day it will end. That could be read as hopeful or ironic. How do you want us to interpret your closing statement?
If we don't believe of this word, if these two words, it will end, we will never resist until this moment. We will never exist. Because since beginning, we believe one day it will end. For that, we're resisting until that day. We never know when this day will come, but we continue resisting until we finish it. Because, as I said, we have right of the life. We have right of the land. We have right to live like the rest of the people, you know, all over the world.
And your film, as we said, was shown at Cannes. Gaza was actually very present at the Cannes Film Festival this year. The documentary Put Your Soul on Your Hand and Walk became tragically relevant when the journalist it depicts, Fatma Hosanna, was killed in an Israeli strike just days before its screening. Her death sparked an international outcry. Here's the director, Sepideh Farsi. She told us it took her death to get the world's attention.
Unfortunately, we live in a world where death attracts more attention than one's life.
Plus d'attention
The
que
presence
la
of a
présence
person
de la
behind a
personne
smile,
qui est
her
à
words, her
l'origine de
courage,
ce
her
sourire,
photograph.
de ces mots, de ce courage,
had
de
to
ces
disappear
photographies.
for
Il
the
a fallu qu'elle
spotlight to be turned
disparaisse
on her
pour
death
que
rather than
les
her
projecteurs
life.
soient tournés
That's
sur sa
what
mort
saddens
plutôt
me.
que de son vivant. C'est ça qui me chagrine.
After her death, Fatma's death, big names like Rafe Fiennes, Richard Gere, they were among more than 380 people to sign a letter slamming the film industry's silence over what they called a genocide in Gaza. And the Kanjuri president, as well, you will have heard her, Juliette Binoche, also paid tribute to Fatma Hosanna. What do you think about the film world's reaction to what's going on in Gaza?
I said in my speech in Cannes that maybe she's lucky, Fatma, that there is a film about her to show a hero, one of more than 50,000 heroes Israel have been killed in Gaza, and nobody know about them. They just became for the world as a number of a people that they get killed by Israel. Fatma, the people don't know about it. There is a photographer, but there is like more than 250 journalists. They have been killed during their showing the reality on the ground. There is artists. It's a resistance. How we say it in the film. We said it in the film. It's kind of resistance because we have a cause. We are all doing what we do for a cause.
Okay, Arab Nasa, I'm sorry, we're out of time. There's so much to talk about, but thank you so much for coming on the show and telling us about your film, Once Upon a Time in Gaza, which is in cinemas now. We're going to leave you with a look at the documentary, Put Your Soul on Your Hand and Walk. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Where are you now?
This is my neighborhood. No one live here or there or there. There's no one.
When the war started on October 7th, I was traveling around the world, presenting my last film that talks about a war I've personally experienced as a teenager in Iran.
It was 80 years ago. Today, survivors are sharing their